In 2010, Michelle Obama implemented the Healthy, Hunger-Free Kids Act, which was later signed by President Obama.
But how much does this act change?
Is to see in adults. This bill's about reversing that trend and giving our kids the healthy futures that they deserve. And this bill's also about doing what's right for our country, because we feel the strains that treating obesity-related health conditions puts on our economy. We've seen the connection between what our kids eat and how well they perform in school. And we know that the countries that succeed in the 21st century will be the ones that have the best prepared, best educated workforce around.
Under the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act is a Smart Snacks in School regulation that gives nutrition standards for food sold in a la carte school stores and vending machines.
These standards require snacks to be less than 200 calories, be a whole grain-rich grain product, and have less than 35% of calories in total fat.
We interviewed school store teachers in our community about this act and how that affected the products and sales of their school store.
We are aware I've had several conferences on the subject and trying to get our school store in compliance.
Are you choosing to follow these guidelines throughout your school store?
Yes and no. We are doing our best to be in compliance and stuff with the laws, but we're still kind of working out the kinks as far as what we can order, what we can't order. So as we find out stuff that is not meeting the guidelines, then we make sure we get those off the shelves.
A lot of stores, school stores are probably trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and we have some good sellers and we have some sellers that aren't so good. So it's just a trial and error right now until we figure out what the kids want. Yeah, I haven't looked into it and researched it 100%, but I am aware of the reason why, and obviously for our kids, we need to make this change. For beverages, we have a 5-year contract. Saline Schools has a 5-year contract with Coca-Cola, so our hands are tied with choosing different vendors for that. We have to obviously follow that contract.
Through the school store, we use a variety of vendors. Our food vendors, we go through Atlas Wholesale, which is based out of Detroit, and we also use D&B Grocers based out of Livonia.
As for food, we use U.S. Foods. That's a new vendor this year. They work with the culinary department and our cafeteria as well, but they offered a lot of the smart snacks that we need to sell nowadays. So I use them, and then I do make runs to Sam's Club for last minute items. But Chef Musto here at Saline High School has done a phenomenal job adjusting, and we are still able to sell fresh baked muffins, our coffee, and he even found a new recipe for iced coffee that meets the guidelines. So we even sell ice cream now that's under the 200 calories.
Well, this helps somewhat in regards to the new guidelines. Our superintendent, Mr. Gearbaugh, actually gave me a list that came from Chartwell's. Chartwell's is actually who our lunchroom is through. So I was given a list through them to help support the new nutritional guidelines as well as some online resources. So they've been extremely helpful in trying to get the school store up and running and being in compliance.
We, regardless of what it has done to our business, we definitely have followed. It's for the best. Any change is hard, and that's truly just what it has been. It's a change. So taking away a lot of the students' favorite things and replacing them with things that maybe they were unaware of, or that they've never tried, that takes time. But overall, I think it's been a success.
The way the guidelines are written, it's nice that there's actually some online tools and stuff to use and online calculators so you can plug in the nutritional facts. But it's a way to reduce the sodium, reduce the sugar, the amount of calorie intake and stuff that is available to students during the school day.
My philosophy on it is I will support the guidelines, but students are going to make choices whether they're in school or out of school. So what kids are doing now is instead of buying from me, they're stopping before school, they're going to restaurants, and they're bringing it with them. So we have gotten away with all the candy. Anything that was over the 200 calorie limit, the caloric intake is what we were focusing on, and the whole wheat ingredient.
I've noticed that they're trying to be more nutritious in there, and they're trying to put like different like granola products and different like fruits, but a lot of times none of the students take it.
Something that's unique to our program is that we have teamed up with the culinary department. They provide us with coffee, iced coffee, and fresh baked goods, as well as with our traditional snacks. So I'd say they're strong. They're still very similar to last year. Where we are lacking in maybe the other food items, our Otis Munkmeyer cookies that we're selling, I thought that was going to be a concern, but the students have really adjusted and they like the healthier version of them.
Very much. There's not as many people walking through, and it's the same people on a daily basis.
I hear complaints every day. I would be lying if I said I didn't.
But on a daily basis, the students complain that we have nothing, there's no junk food, there's nothing that they want.
Instead of encouraging students to go to fast food restaurants before or during school, the act should only be implemented towards school lunches.